Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Better late than never. This is coming out on Wednesday, so hopefully you haven't gone and lost this week already. We're 3 days in, but I do think we'll still be able to pick up some guys from the waiver wire at the end of this. Let's go ahead and review Week 8 results as we talk about the Kent Murphy Dingers. We were able to have a pretty convincing win, 8-2. That brings our record to 5-1-1. We had a big week from Zach Neto. He had 3 home runs, scored 7 runs, and had 7 RBIs. We also had 2 home runs and 8 RBIs from Mr. Riley Green. That's huge for us. We also had at least 1 home run and between 2 and 5 RBIs from Hunter Goodman, Alec Bohm, who finally hit his first one of the year, and Matt Olson. Moving to pitching, we had 3 saves for Shelby Miller, and Hunter Brown is on a roll. 5th straight start with 9 strikeouts. Unfortunately, this week he lost a heartbreaker. He led 1 earned run and lost. Come on, Astros, give him a little run support. Move to the guys who didn't do well so for me, but sticking with the Astros, Jose Altuve had another cold week. He only scored 1 run for me, and had he scored that 1 run when Hunter Brown was pitching, well, who knows, we may not have had a loss. But in any case, he is hitting .240 now, and golly, man, who would have ever thought Jose Altuve was going to do this poorly? I also didn't think we were going to have poor performances from Zach Gallen like we have. My gosh, man, have you forgotten how to pitch? Of course you pitch well against my Yankees, but everyone else, you're just a turd nugget. In any case, we also had very cold or unproductive weeks, especially when we did start them, from Adolis Garcia, Lawrence Butler, and Christian Yelich. Of course, they produce when I don't play them, but when I do play them, they don't do anything for me, so great. We also had pretty poor pitching performances from relief guys. Despite getting us 3 saves, Shelby Miller was not looking sexy, neither was Tommy Canley. Ben Casparius also just decided not to do anything, and Jose Alvarado decided he was going to take PEDs, and now he's gone. As we move to the Astros drops, I do think we had some pretty good ones this week. Colin Ray had a great start against the Marlins to start the week. Then we also picked up Hunter Goodman. Somehow he was still available. Glad we were able to get him. We also looked up Jameson Taillon, who's one of my favorite players, and he was able to do pretty well for us, but gave up 3 home runs to the Marlins. We also picked up Ben Casparius, who was going to be a relief pitcher and ended up giving up several runs over 2 1/3 innings. So that's not great. The last 2 guys we picked up this week were Jordan Romano and Alex Vesia. That's because, as we just alluded to, Jose Alvarado is going down, and also Kirby Yates went down with a hamstring injury. Those 2 guys are going to move up even further in the pecking order and or take over saves, so definitely good to get those in this categories-driven league. The drops this week did include Colin Ray, even though he had a good week for us. Couldn't keep him throughout the entire week. Also dropped David Bednar. Glad we did, because the day after we dropped him, he had an implosion. We also dropped Jameson Taillon, Ben Casparius, and Brenton Doyle. That was pretty tough because, again, I really have big hopes and dreams for Brenton Doyle, but just not producing on the field, man. Final guy we dropped was Francisco Alvarez. Just could not taking 3 catchers into a weekly basis, you know? This is tough. We got Contreras. We also got my boy Hunter Goodman. So, Francisco, the odd man out. So at this point in time, we are 5-1-1, like we said before. We have a tough matchup this coming week with Rough Riders, who we did our draft with. This guy has just had bad luck all year. Really strong team. Really great offense, so I'm really going to be worried about that. He's got some heavy hitters, but I am hopefully going to continue winning, as I would love to do in all of my leagues, but we'll see how this goes. Next team we're talking about is the Cheese Weasels. This week we're in 7th place, but we have 80 points this time. We had huge weeks from Mr. Marcelo Zuna. He had 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 6 walks. We also talked about Zach Neto again. 7 runs scored, 7 RBIs, 3 walks, in addition to 3 home runs. Fisher Torkelson added 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 3 walks, while Nico Horner added 8 hits and 3 stolen bases. And we had absolute gems from Paul Skeens, Andrew Abbott, Logan Henderson, and Noah Cameron. On the other side, we had bad outings from Nick Lodolo, Jameson Taillon, and Aaron Nola. Are you kidding me, dude? 9 earned runs in like 3 2/3 of an inning. God bless America, dude. We also had 2 blown saves from Reed Garrett, and then Emilio Pagan had a blown save and a loss. Come on, man. As we get to the Astros drops, there were a ton of them. You can see them on the side of my face. It's unfortunate because we are trying to get back into pitching, and we just continue to find ourselves getting losses. So we're probably going to lead the league or have the least amount of points for losses, and that's frustrating, but it is what it is. Probably the biggest drop we had was my boy Aaron Nola. I never thought I would do that, but I also never thought I'd drop Bryce Miller or Luis Castillo. So, yeah, it's tough. So, 80 points right now, 7th place, plenty of baseball left to go, but gotta be making some moves. So, seeing holds and saves, getting that ERA and the whip down. We're leading the league which is not what you want to do in blown saves and losses. So there's only one way to go from there, is up, right? Let's hope. And now we're going to move to the Funky Junky Joker markets, where we came out with a big win, 417 to 323, moving to 7-1 on the year. Our top scorer was Brian Woo with 45 points, followed by Tyler Malley with 40, and then Javi Baez bringing in 33. Woo, golly, throwing it back now. We also had 24 from Pablo Lopez and Lourdes Scorio. We had 4 guys with 20-plus points, so that's pretty good. As we move to the guys that did not do well for us, Nolan Arenado only got us 8 points. Bailey Ober only got us 6 points. Jose Altuve only got us 2. And Salvador Perez got us -2. Is he going to heat up? Is he actually going to heat up, or are we going to drop it? Are we going to drop Salvador Perez? We picked him up last year when someone dropped him in like the second week of the season, and he went off. But maybe it's just because the weather's not good. I mean, he is 35 years old, but are we going to drop Salvador Perez? As we move to the ads and drops, we're somewhat looking forward to next week, but again, not losing sight of what's going on this week. We added Jonathan India and Mitch Keller, who seems to be the worst luck pitcher in all of baseball. And we dropped Kirby Yates because he got hurt, and then Cam Smith because just wasn't quite seeming to get it here at the major league level. I'm sure he's going to turn around. I'm sure he's going to score like 1,000 points, and I'm going to look silly for dropping him, but it is what it is. Wouldn't be the first time I made a mistake. So right now, 7-1, going to be looking here in the next week or two to really face some stiffer competition. But you know what? It's all good. Lose now before we get to the playoffs, but ideally not lose at all, right? We're going to skip over to the ESPN leagues and start with the Russell My Gym Jams team, who had a huge week this week, winning 11 categories to 2 categories to 3 categories, bringing our record to 51, 54, and 23. Still in 7th place, but hey, we did jump one guy. We had a huge week from CJ Abrams, 6 extra base hits, 4 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. That means all of his home runs were single home runs. You were the only person there. No one was on base. Come on, let's get some ducks on the pond, please. Goodman also had 4 extra base hits with 5 RBIs, 1 home run. We had 9 other guys with 2 or more extra base hits. That is phenomenal. Let's get that every week, guys. While most of the hitting was pretty good, we did still have some cold hitters, but the pitching itself was the absolute worst. Clay Holmes, Clayton Kershaw, and Kevin Gausman all had atrocious outings. However, the biggest miss I had was Taylor Ward. So I missed multiple home runs. However, despite missing the home runs, if I would have had them, I still would not have won the home run category. So makes me feel a little better, but still not happy about it. Had several ads and drops this week, including Jameson Taillon and Luis Ortiz for the starting pitchers. Louis Varland as a reliever / starting pitcher. He can slot into both and can pick up saves and or holds for me. We also picked up Trevor Larnach because he is on fire for the Twins as of late. Also Miguel Andujar because he is on fire for the Athletics as of late. And Gavin Sheets because he is on fire for the Padres as of late. We also dropped JP Crawford, who hit a home run the day we let him go. Also Clayton Kershaw because you're 37 and not Cy Young Form winner anymore. We also had to drop Jameson Taillon, no surprise there, just to make room for some more pitchers. We also decided to drop Matt Brash, who is the main holds guy in Seattle, and he's already got 2. It's unfortunate, but we'll see. Maybe Gabe Spires is going to be the main guy in that bullpen. Probably not, so I just made a foolish mistake. We also dropped Zach McKinstry because he wasn't doing much, and then when I released him, he started to do more, so go figure. We also dropped Sean Burke because he kind of fell through on me last week, man, so it kind of stinks. So to reiterate, we are in 7th place, 51, 54, and 23. Happy with the performance we had last week, but cannot be complacent because 7th place is not enough to get us in the playoffs. So we're going to have to be smart with what we do. Use as many of the 7 ads or drops each week that we have available to us. And again, don't overthink it, but make sure we're using good judgment. And now we're going to move to the South Harmon Institute of Technology, where we were able to come out with a win, 8 categories to 6 categories to 4 categories, bringing our overall record to 67, 48, and 29. Guys who performed well for us include Kyle Stowers with 21 total bases, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, which, come on, man, that means 3 of them were solo shots. Gets the ducks on the pond. CJ Abrams had 17 total bases, 3 home runs, and also 3 RBIs. You have a stolen base, but let's get some ducks on the pond. Even though you're leading off, maybe go to 2nd or even 3rd. I don't know. Maybe don't mess it up. You're doing well. Anyway, we also had 4 other guys who had at least 12 total bases. One of those guys was Junior Suarez with 2 home runs and 10 RBIs. Holy cow, that was awesome. One of the positives for pitching this week was Shelby Miller, who got me 3 saves, so that was great. On the other side, we had several guys who did not do well for us, and Tommy Canley actually cost us a freaking category with a blown save. Come on, man. We also had some just cold weeks from a few guys, including Bryce Terang, JJ Bleday, and Sal Frelick. Ooh, real cold weeks. I think you got like one stolen base, so thanks, Terang, but I need more, a lot more. A terrible starts from Tony Gonsolin and Bailey Ober, and then subpar outings from Mr. Ben Kasparius and again Tommy Canley. We had a ton of ads and drops, so make sure you're looking at them on both sides of my face. We have to be smart. We are in a situation where we can just continue to build on the success that we've had. We are going to need to be smart with our starts, but also our ads and drops, because they're unlimited. So we can literally add as many people as we want, but we cannot let that go to our head. We have to continue to stay on the road of mainly focusing on relief pitching. Yes, we're going to, unfortunately, probably give up the blown saves every week, but again, keeping ERA and whip low, winning holds and saves. We're going to concede a few categories, but we have to win the ones that we absolutely know we can win, and frankly, built to win. So let's make sure we do it, focus on the pitching, and make sure the offense is still doing their job. We have confidence in them. They got us this far. Let's not have them let us down now. The final team we're talking about is the Petrie Purgatory team, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it happened. I knew it was going to happen. I'm just hoping it doesn't happen in the playoffs before we get to the championship again. We lost. It was a big loss, too. Well, it could have been bigger, but our guys really made a pretty good effort there at the end. Just couldn't quite overcome that huge deficit we had. We lost 997 to 1,126. Fortunately, it was the pitching. And yes, while I did make a few subpar decisions when it came to the fielders, missed out on a few double-digit outings from them, but not enough to make us lose this bad. It really was the pitching. We had terrible matchups. That's really what it was. The matchups just weren't sexy. Our top score was Framber Valdez with 73. He really came in clutch for us. Unfortunately, it was all for naught, at least for this week. Riley Green got 63, and then a pair of Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte and Eugene Suarez, got 62. Then we also had 4 guys with at least 50 plus. So you did well, but not quite good enough. As far as the guys that did not do well for us, Burton Doyle led us with 8 points. That's not great. Stephen Kolek went from 58 last week to 5 this week. And Christian Walker has 1 point in this last week for me. Need you to find your life, dude. You're no longer in Arizona. Get in Houston and figure out what's going on so you can take off and launch like a NASA rocket. Hopefully he finds that inspiring. We also had 4 guys that got us negative points. Come on, man. We had a ton of ads and drops this week because we were trying to get back into it. We had some good ads and some decent drops. Nothing that was too sexy. But at the end of the day, let's get the loss out now. We're 7-1. We're still in really good shape. We're going to just have to match up better. That's pretty much it. Now that we're done with the recaps, let's talk about the guys I think you should add and drop. First guy I think you should add is a dual eligibility guy in Cincinnati, Gavin Lux. Second base and outfield eligibility. He has 20 plus walks and almost 20 extra base hits. If that's something you count in your league, the 1 stolen base is not looking sexy, but hitting almost 300, no one is going to be upset with that. And at 800 plus OPS, that's something else to be positive about. And he's in Great American Ballpark. He's going to be able to hit more than the 1 home run he has now. So just be patient. Gavin Lux will eventually come around. Someone else I think you should add. You have to at least be on the lookout again for Agustin Ramirez. If you have not added him, or if you added him and dropped him like I did, you might want to add him again because yes, he cooled down from his 400 batting average, but he's hitting like 260, 270 right now, and actually has better comparable numbers than Yanier Diaz and Salvi. Ooh, I have them both on my teams, and I'm really thinking about dropping potentially Salvi for him. Is that crazy to think? Yeah, that might be floating around your waiver wire depending on how shallow or deep your league is. Jake Myers, outfielder for the daggone Houston Astros. They're not cheating, but he's still hitting over 300 and he has 8 stolen bases. So if you're in a categories league, could be something to look at. If you're in a points league, I don't know. He doesn't strike out too much, but he also doesn't walk a ton. So again, the OPS might not be as sexy as you want it to be, but could be something to look at. Some controversy brewing in Chicago, and it's not with the White Sox. Surprise, surprise. It is the Cubs organization, and it is the bullpen in their organization. Porter Hodge went on the IL. Not sure how long he's going to be out. Ryan Presley forgot how to pitch since coming over from Houston. So who's going to be the guy? Palencia? Drew Pomeranz? Who knows? So maybe someone you should pick up if you got a few options. Palencia and Drew Pomeranz. I don't think they're going to want to put Presley back in there because he has unraveled several times and just doesn't seem to have what he had when he was in Houston. Pomeranz picked up his first save in like 2 or 3 years, and I think that was when he was with the Padres. Valencia, I mean, he's picked up the last 2, but I don't even know who that guy is. So if you need saves, pick up Pomeranz or Palencia. I'm moving to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Thank God Justin Martinez is coming back soon because Shelby Miller gives everyone a heart attack every time he takes the mound. While yes, he did pick up 3 saves for me this past week, he also just gave up some runs that were unnecessary and raised my whip and my ERA. So just Martinez, but also AJ Puck, or AJ Puke as I like to call him, because he should be back here in a little bit, and he also has dual eligibility as starting pitcher and relief pitcher, so that could be huge for you. And the last guy I'm talking about is Randy Vasquez. Now that may not be the sexiest name, and that may not be anything for you this week, but next week is a 2-start week, and he has on Monday the Marlins, and on Sunday the Pirates. So again, may not sound sexy, but the last 2 games, he has scored at least 22 points for me. Well, not for me, but for the league. But also, he plays for the Padres. As long as he can go 5, he's going to pick up wins. So, something to look out for. I want to thank you so much for joining in for week 8 of this podcast. I'm going to go ahead and call it a podcast. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week and hopefully coming out with some more wins and picking up some spots, getting at least into playoff contention. I know it's still early, but never hurts to look ahead. This is JK. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.